Yeah, you shouldn't be optimizing for it.
Yeah.
Optimizing for legacy is the most egotistical thing you can do. You're putting yourself above everyone. And it's like, and don't get me wrong, I do this myself. Like, I think I'm here.
No, but I know it's true. You better.
Everyone does. Like, I would say the fact that I have a podcast is me doing that. It's like, oh yeah, I believe that I should be heard. Like, that is that.
Good luck to my ancestors.
Hope they're well.
Hope they're well.
Great little caviar.
Very good caviar.
Look at that side. Not me. Anyways, carry on. We have got another episode of SCULPTED Podcast. Before we get into it, things are moving. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, do all of that stuff. TikTok, is that banned in Australia?
No, not just US. If they're like banned, it's not banned anymore.
Yeah, it got like revoked or something, right?
They're like sharp only.
Yeah, well, that's fun. Make sure you follow the TikTok man. Someone's doing something there. I don't know what happens. So
I don't know. I just know the guy's Singaporean. I keep saying that.
Oh yeah, see, yeah.
I sort of heard. I'm not Chinese. I'm Singaporean.
I've seen it. Instead,
Sort of hated what they. I'm something like that. It's this movie.
fair up.
Yeah, I'm employed. What's this movie?
Is that a
Oh, I'm just brother to the cause.
I love Arden's one-liners. Arden's are the best one-liners. I think we can all agree on that. You've just got some sayings. You know what I mean?
Dude, can't yourself.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you've just got some sayings you just chuck in there.
Nah, I agree. Yeah.
Like, what's the ones when people like, it's like a no one should be laughing, and then you just say something horrible. What, do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. He's just like, yeah, man.
Like, if someone says a bad joke,
I'm happy or something.
something that's the most funniest thing.
Oh, the page was it?
Yeah, your fake laugh is insane. So offensive. It's so offensive. Imagine you make a horrible joke in the group and then you see that. You'd want to jump off the balcony head first.
You want to jump in.
Yeah, I think it would be more personal. It's jump off and never come back. It's not nice, but it's so funny to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so what have we got, Alpha? You had a few topics.
Oh, so I just wanted to know your opinion on reputation. Just because, you can look at it two ways. You can say, so much depends on reputation. It can help you to win allies, gain trust, create opportunities. People are more willing to work with you and, follow and invest in someone with a good reputation, because you got credibility, reliability, and they're trustworthy. And also people are hesitant to work with someone with a poor reputation, because usually they're not seen as worth the risk. It's a bad business call.
Yeah.
However you want to say it. But then there's the reversal on that is what people think isn't important. It's how you see yourself that means everything.
Oh, okay, that's even another layer on top of it. So we spoke about this a little bit off camera before. We were talking about like reputation is something that you can have at the front of your mind, but if you have it at the front of the mind, you're also it's more costly because it's like every decision that you make, you're always thinking about, will this affect my reputation? Which is actually a negatively like in tuned way of thinking, because if you're thinking like everything that I do will affect my reputation, you will then stop taking action on specific things that may actually help you. So it's like, if you're so risk averse that you never take risks, then you will always be under a specific line of success, because to get successful, you have to take risks sometime. And this is speaking from someone who's relatively ignorant in this space, but this is like just my perspective on it. You think about like how you are now, where you want to be, and then what is the actions that you need to take to get there. So if we're thinking about the perception that someone has on you, if you're constantly failing, your reputation is someone who fails. But as soon as you win big once, then you're not really seen as someone who fails here. But if you never win, then you are just seen as someone who fails a lot. And that's where the reputation really matters. Because if no one believes in you and you have a reputation of losing, then you're a loser by definition. But it only takes one win for everyone to forget. And it also is the exact opposite on the flip side. If you only win, it takes one loss for everyone to remember that you're now a loser.
So you're leaning on the side more of how you see yourself means everything and the never giving up sort of thing. And as long as you know that your path is the right path, that's most important.
I think that's the right way of doing it. But the worldview that I see to be reality is more like pessimistic than that. I would like to imagine that's reality, but I think that the objective reality would be that people see it from an extrinsic perspective. So if I was to see someone who's losing 100 times, but they've actually gained a lot personally and they're a better person because of those losses, but I don't see them in a Lamborghini, I'm going to objectively view them as unsuccessful. Whereas they may be, you got a Lamborghini. Or you just putting a question out there. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say on that, the pessimistic, you said it's on the flip side.
Yeah.
I still think if someone's losing, and then you said they win and people forget about it, I think we're a glass half empty type society where they'll probably still think about the negatives rather than the win.
Potentially. But if the win outweighs the negative, like if you just then see them in a luxury mansion.
Yeah, but that's all tangible stuff.
I very much agree with that. Because that's unquantifiable, quantifiable success, where it's like the definition that we have of success today is different to the definition of success 200 years ago, because success today isn't actually definitive of value exchange. Back in the olden days, because to the ancestors, hope they're well, they would have had the definitive success. That's that kind of thing. They would have had the definition of success being as value exchange. So from the crops and doing all that stuff from the crops. Yep. No, I was going to say the cream of the crop. From the crops that they were doing, they were providing the most value. But now it takes one pick of some angle that's crazy for you to become a millionaire, right? And that's not necessarily a value exchange. So what took farmers millions of years or, thousands of hours of labor to earn $1 million back in the olden days, which is intrinsically like a very good value exchange, putting in a lot of hard yards. So yeah, I think that like what we know as success today isn't actually a true reflection of value exchange. Do you know what I mean by that? Because it's like it takes one, or it could even be extortion becomes success. So if you see me scamming 100 million people, I don't have a Lamborghini, but that's not objectively successful. That's an extrinsic perception of success, but intrinsically you may be unsuccessful. It's like the halo effect. Like if I look at Ronaldo and assume that all areas of his life are successful, you're wrong in assuming that, because he's very, very successful.
Still got a good reputation though.
Still got a very.
But I'm not really talking about on how you see people. I'm talking about more on a, business type, in a business type model, like, you know what I mean? Like when you need to make connections and all that sort of stuff, I do still believe that reputation is important because, if you have a business deal, you're trying to close a business deal with someone, or say there's a piece of real estate that you're trying to acquire for a specific reason, and there's another guy who's trying to acquire it for the same reason, but he's got a better reputation of hang things back, where he's just better at what he does than you. The seller will most likely sell it to the other guy because of his reputation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure. And also you could negatively spin that to where it's like, if you are someone who's untrustworthy, has a bad reputation, and you're competing against other people, then it's like no one's trustworthy and no one will get the better fruits.
I also think there's different.
Why'd you laugh already?
No. I also think there's heaps of different factors now. Like reputation might not have the most power in a final decision like it used to. Like, I mean, you could go in at a job interview and someone could have a great reputation, but they don't have a natural business reason.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas the other person, not as good a reputation.
Yes, that comes with the reputation there.
But they've got a bachelor, like a thing to. So I'm saying it's not as powerful, I don't think.
I'd see a bachelor or like your resume as part of your reputation.
Yeah.
It's what makes it up.
Both points are valid. I think back to the point of like the most intrinsic version or the most like purposeful version of like success. If we were to think of success as a value exchange, and if we were to think of the pursuit of a success as really, really like very sharp, like if you do this thing, you will get this thing, rather than if you have friends who know friends and you can get that thing through going another way, then you can kind of like use that to your advantage. Because I think you're right, Alfia, that reputation really matters. But Arden, you're also right. If you then have really good skill sets, or you know someone who can get you into the door, both can work. So I think you're both right. And I think Alfia, you're also talking about like having a bad reputation could also do the opposite.
I feel like Arden's point is I'm not associated with reputation. It's more, I would call that it's more a social aspect. It's not based on yourself. It's based on who you know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yeah.
That's I'm saying they're different. I'm just saying that sometimes reputation might not have as much power for someone that's on an outsider.
Yeah.
Because if you got something on paper.
Yeah. I think that we're looking at a very unrealistic landscape here. And not that I think that you're saying that completely, but I think we're thinking about it in a very the world's perfect. If the world was perfect, you could be able to go into a job studying 20 years at university and walking into your perfect job. Yeah. And we're thinking that if you do all the right things, you'll make $1 million. Unfortunately, the world, if there was class and valor in things, back in the olden days, people would say, if you're fighting against your biggest opposition, you would duel it out in the middle of a field, and the winner means that the whole village is free. We don't have that anymore. If we think about, I hate to get political, but if you think about the war crimes committed in current wars, there's no valor in it. It's just extorting people for your own benefit. And I think that the world...
It depends on the society.
It definitely depends on the society.
For and if you're talking about in the past, for ancient civilizations, not all of them were based on morals.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of indigenous cultures. I saw a movie the other day and it just made me put into perspective the Maya civilization.
Yeah. Chuck you in a volcano.
Freeze dust. Yeah, or just take your heart out for no reason and then cut your head off and roll it down a pyramid.
Yeah. Just cause.
Because to please the gods.
Yeah. I completely agree.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's actually what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's just a human nature, right? The world and how it operates, in my perspective, it sucks. There is no actual... It's distorted. Yeah, it's very, very distorted and very perverted. Mm-hmm. You could imagine that doing the right things is going to get you to where you want, but the reality is, if I work hard, this is a reality for the SCULPTED app, right? I could put in 3 years of unpaid work, get funding for 3 years, and then on the 7th year, we go bankrupt and have $2 up to my account. I don't know why I'm laughing. but you'd imagine that would make you a millionaire, right? From doing all that hard work. But the reality is, it might not happen. I don't know why I'm still laughing. But yeah, I would say you have a point. Okay, just laughing. Okay, just stay behind the screen so I don't distract with them. Yeah, I would say that the reality is the world is harsh, and you would like to imagine the cream of the crop rises. But the reality is, I would say that the reputation you have can be very helpful, 100%. You can use it as a positive, but you could also use it as a negative. Now, the negative, I don't know really how you could benefit that unless you were just really, really trying. And Alex Hormozi? Basically, it's a very affluent public figure in the business landscape, where he was very, very unsuccessful in the early years of his life, and then it took one big hit for him, and now he's one of the most famous people in business. So he would have had a very poor reputation after it. But then it took one thing for him to be massive in the landscape. So I think that the reputation really does matter. How do you go about it? As I mentioned in the original point, if you care about it so much, it will limit you, because then you're limiting every single action you take, thinking, well, there's variables. There's variables for everything.
Yeah.
And then if you choose fixated on, I don't want to affect my reputation, especially in the early stages. Say if you're a preservationist, once you've made your millions of dollars and you don't want to ruin your reputation, being conservative about that, I think, is very appropriate. But I think in your early years, thinking about reputation and getting hyper fixated on it, I think is limiting your potential.
And also in the early years, hyper fixating on that as well, as long as you're not giving up and you're keeping
persistent. What you sent me before,
Oh yeah, with that
the biggest Dubai.
Yeah. As long as you're persistent and you keep going, you can fail as many times. It's like you said, it's that one time.
Yeah.
But
you're also not wrong in saying that if you never get that one time, then you were an objective failure. But intrinsically, you may be much better than you were previously when you started.
Exactly.
So, perception-wise, you look like a failure. And that's the harsh reality of the world, is that you are seen for surface value.
But in yourself, because you put all that effort in and you tried, you know who you are.
Yeah.
And
I would say
I guess it's a win-win, in my opinion.
It's a win-win. If you value being judged by others, then it's going to be difficult. But ideally, that person probably doesn't care about what others think anyway, because they've gone through so much. So I think that, you're right, to win-win for that person, but it may be seen as objectively bad. And I think we all fall into that as humans. We want to see what we see. Don't judge a book by a color. Reality is we judge everyone as a cover.
Don't care what people think, but we care what everyone thinks.
Yeah, and so we should. But then you also have to think like, I can't let that affect me too much.
Yeah.
You can use it, but if you rely on good, you also rely on bad. If I rely on 4 of you guys saying nice things about me, when I hear one bad thing, I'm also relying on that. Because I'm relying on external things. And the reality is nothing is external. Everything is intrinsic. So if I'm relying on only my own self-worth intrinsically, and I know what that is, then whether you say something that's good, whether you say something that's bad, and whether you say something that's good, not calling you out, Charles.
I'm pretty sure, like, actually the most common fear for humans, this is based on reputation, is public humiliation. Like, it's the most common fear, like over Sharknado, all that sort of stuff. Like, that's the scariest thing for people to be publicly humiliated. Like,
Makes sense.
like wouldn't that just kill you inside? Like,
What's a good example of something that's just public humiliation?
The backpack kid?
yeah, but he did that to himself.
Yeah, but that's still public humiliation.
Yeah, but like, I'm talking like, when he date,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that one, like in New Year's or whatever. That's public humiliation. But then also,
but I'm talking about something that you couldn't control. Like, it just got like went viral. You doing something?
Actually, probably when Kanye West and Taylor Swift won the Oscar award, and they went up into then Beyonce, more public. I respect that. Yeah, but that's probably
I don't respect Taylor Swift.
on the record as well.
Yeah,
Imagine we got Travis Kelce on.
nah,
Yeah.
dude, I don't. Nah,
I'm going to say that to Travis Kelce's face.
100%. But
I'll back you.
I wouldn't suck.
Yeah, reputation. That's an interesting one, I feel. I like it.
Also, can I, on that,
Yeah.
can you give us, bro, like, what your thoughts on the link between legacy and reputation?
I hate legacy. I get that from KSI, right? Like, KSI always talk about, like, I'm just saying that, you know,
No,
not a big...
I do have my own, like, thoughts.
Yeah, I know, but I got legacy from KSI, though.
Really?
Because all he speaks about is legacy.
Okay.
He wants to have a legacy. And I think it's cringy as
He's not having a legacy.
he does, but like legacy is
A lot of
most.
people are like, when I die, I just want to make sure that I have leave a legacy on my
You remember me?
Yeah,
why I'm
that's all ego.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all ego. That's, to me, like Alfie and I will probably agree on this because from the religious standpoint, that's idolatry. You idolize yourself, and I think that's where, like, I hate thinking about. And don't get me wrong, it's a very human thing to experiment.
It's cool and all that, but I don't think it's that important. I think you shouldn't be fixated on that.
Yeah, you shouldn't be optimizing for it.
Yeah.
Optimizing for legacy is the most egotistical thing you can do. You're putting yourself above everyone, and it's like, and don't get me wrong, I do this myself. Like, I think I'm here.
I've
But I know.
Everyone does. Like, I would say the fact that I have a podcast is me doing that. It's like, oh yeah, I believe that I should be heard. Like, that is that.
Well, stop.
No, I was thinking like, but I think like that's yeah. Man, it's just caviar, have the little delicatessens. We're back in topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the legacy part, everyone has it to a degree. Like thinking that they should be like either heard, understood, that their perspective is right. That's a human thing. If you believe that your perspective is right, you have an ego. Anyone who believes that they don't have an ego is egotistical because then their ego lies in them saying they don't have an ego. I think we spoke about the ego paradox before. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Let's get to Arden.
Yeah. Sorry?
Let's get the reversal of Arden and why he thinks legacy is important.
No, did you mean that?
I was just saying.
Yeah, what I think he is.
But like, I don't think it's legacy. It's just that, I mean, if you want legacy, that means you want people other than your family and friends to remember
you. Yeah, for being great.
Yeah.
You don't want a bad legacy. Legacy doesn't really go like bad. Legacy versus reputation. I think they're both very linked. I'd say that legacy is more like long term. Reputation is more immediate. They're both definitely linked. Like if you have a good reputation, you can have a good legacy. The legacy probably comes from more ego, where reputation can also be just a consequence of events, right?
Well,
like,
would you say legacy is more tangible things? Like,
Or
your legacy, your nose is full of legacy because of just tangible things we've done.
yeah, but I'd say reputation's the same.
I'd say
But outside of the family is what I'm saying. If you're remembered outside of the family.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like that's still quantified. Like everything's quantifiable. I think it's not a measurement of quantifiability. That's a word. I think it's a measurement of the things that you did within there. So, like if I was to build the Great Wall of China, by 11 years,
you've got tangible achievements.
Yeah, but the same as a reputation. If I build the Great Wall of China and I'm still living my life, I think it's like the same thing between a religion and a cult. Cult is the leader is alive. A religion, the cult leader is dead. If you have a good reputation, it means that you're still alive. If you have a legacy, it means you're dead.
I don't agree with that.
The religious thing?
Yeah, the religion and cult, but that's caveat anyway. I was going to say that I think with reputation, it's more a survival tactic. Like it's something they use as an asset to get forward in life. Legacy, you leave it behind. That's the main difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good way of summing it up. As Christians, you could argue that Christianity is a cult.
For sure.
And it functions as a cult.
What's the definition of a cult?
A cult is essentially a leader. There's a leader who essentially makes traditions and a rule of a guide of virtues to live by, a rule to live by, right?
Let's get the official definition.
Yeah.
A system of religious veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then religion definition.
But when Taylor Swift dies, it becomes a religion.
No, because that's more a cult. Because the religion, the belief and worship of a superhuman power or powers, especially God or gods. So a cult is more specifically on someone who is non-supernatural. This is what it's saying here.
Yeah, okay.
Because religion is someone.
Oh, okay. I guess that's subjective though, because like, imagine if you're someone who believes that your person is supernatural, then all of a sudden you then become a religion after they die. You get what I mean? Because then you could also say Christianity is a cult, but for you and I, it's a religion. We'll wrap it off there.
Para do no bailão, no bailão. Ela com o popozão e o popozão no chão. O popozão no chão e o popozão no chão.